Welcome to Fam Mist, where family secrets and mysteries come alive. Subscribe to Fam Mist and uncover the secrets with us. My ex-wife stole $3,000 from our daughter to throw a party for her stepson, but her husband paid it back and is now divorcing her. My ex-wife, Rita, and I divorced 8 years ago. We have a 15-year-old daughter together, and up until now, we've co-parented without major issues. We had shared custody and Rita had always been a good mom. But with what she did recently, things changed drastically. On top of that, her current husband is now divorcing her, and somehow she's blaming me, which I find completely unfair. Rita remarried about 2 years ago to a man named Adrian, after dating him for around 3 years. I don't know him very well, we only exchange a few words during custody exchanges, but from what my daughter says, he seems like a good guy. However, my daughter doesn't get along with Adrian's son, Derek. He's 3 years older than her and just graduated high school. Based on what I've heard, he doesn't sound like a great stepbrother or even a decent person, so my daughter usually keeps her distance. Even Rita knows they don't get along, which makes what she did feel like an even bigger betrayal. Here's what happened: Derek barely scraped by in school and his chances of getting into even a decent college are slim. Adrian was disappointed and didn't want to celebrate his graduation because, honestly, there wasn't much to celebrate. That's his choice, he's Derek's father and has raised him his whole life. But Rita decided to throw Derek a graduation party anyway, behind her husband's back. Since she couldn't ask Adrian for money without exposing her plan, she stole from our daughter instead. Our daughter has a joint account with us and her own card. Rita and I both contribute money for her future, and my daughter also works part-time to save up for a car when she turns 18. That's her money, birthday gifts, her job earnings, and deposits from us. A few days ago, Rita took her card while she was asleep and used it to pay for the party, spending nearly $3,000 and leaving her with only $200. Naturally, our daughter found out quickly, confronted Rita the day before the party, and was furious. Rita brushed it off, saying the party would happen whether she liked it or not, and claimed the money wasn't really hers because it came from her parents. She even told our daughter she should be happy to help her brother instead of being selfish. Rita painted Derek as the victim because his dad didn't want to celebrate his graduation, trying to guilt our daughter into accepting it. Thankfully, my daughter didn't buy into the manipulation. She packed her things and came to live with me, refusing to go back to Rita's. She's even asked about changing custody so she can live with me permanently. Meanwhile, Rita refuses to return the money. She keeps insisting that the money wasn't really our daughter's and that she'll make it up in the future. I don't believe her for a second, especially since she has a good job and could have easily afforded a much smaller, more reasonable party out of her own pocket. At this point, I told her we want the money back, one way or another, even if I have to get lawyers involved. Since she won't budge, yesterday I decided to contact Adrian to talk things through. It was clear that talking to Rita was going nowhere. She was dead set on not returning the money. Since the money had gone to Derek's party, I decided to reach out to Adrian, his father, hoping to at least talk to a reasonable adult. I didn't have his number, so I messaged him on Facebook and explained everything. I apologized for having to involve him, but I told him my daughter was devastated and it was unfair. I ended the message saying I hoped he could convince Rita to return the money, or maybe we could reach some arrangement. I was polite, and he replied within hours. Adrian apologized, said he had no idea Rita had funded the party that way, and told me he'd send the money immediately. He wired me the full amount almost right away. Finally, there was a solution without having to spend thousands on lawyers. My daughter and I both felt relieved. Of course, she was still furious with her mom, and I was too. We decided not to talk to Rita until she apologized. But that was too much to ask, because this morning she showed up at my house screaming, accusing us of ruining her marriage. Apparently, after my message, Adrian came home from work and confronted her. He was already upset she'd thrown the party against his wishes. He didn't think Derek deserved a celebration given his poor grades and behavior. Then he learned she hadn't even paid for it herself, but had stolen from her daughter. It was one bad decision piled on another. Now he's talking divorce. Rita blamed me, but I don't think this is on me at all. First, telling the truth about what she did was the right thing. And second, Adrian's decision likely isn't based on just this one incident. This was just the breaking point. I asked my daughter to go to her room so she wouldn't have to deal with the scene. I stood my ground and told Rita this was her fault, and she had no right to barge into my house yelling at us. She got even angrier, insulting me, saying I was a pathetic, miserable man trying to ruin her relationship because I couldn't stand seeing her with someone else. None of that is true, and honestly, even if it were, it wouldn't change the fact that what she did was wrong. I rolled my eyes. We've been divorced for years, I couldn't care less about her personal life. I even went to her wedding and was genuinely happy for her back then because we'd managed a decent relationship. So her accusations were baseless. When I told her to leave, she refused. Instead, she demanded I call Adrian and say everything was a misunderstanding, that she hadn't done anything wrong. I sarcastically replied, "Sure, let me just dial 1 after 91. That set her off even more. She stormed around my front yard stomping and screaming, demanding I fix this immediately. She shouted insults non-stop, acting completely unhinged. Eventually, I did dial 911, but when she realized, she broke down crying hysterically, throwing herself on the lawn, saying everything was my fault and now I was using the police against her. Honestly, she was more out of control than I'd ever seen her, even during our divorce. She then started ranting that marrying me and having a daughter with me was the biggest mistake of her life, and now she was stuck with us ruining everything for her. I could take the insults at me, but when she dragged our daughter into it, I lost my patience. I yelled that she wouldn't have to worry about us being in her life anymore, because I was going to my lawyer and filing for full custody. Given the circumstances, I knew my daughter wouldn't mind and neither would she. That made her scream louder, saying I was a horrible person destroying her life and that she didn't deserve this. At that point, I'd lost all sympathy. I told her after everything she'd done, she was only getting what she deserved. Adrian was right to leave her, and soon she'd lose us too. She tried to keep crying, maybe looking for pity, but I was done. I grabbed her by the arm, pulled her up off the lawn, and kicked her out of my house. It was rough, but it had to be done. Now she's been blowing up my phone with messages saying she's going through so much and I should have been compassionate instead of treating her the way I did. So what do you think? Did I go too far? Or did she bring all of this on herself with her actions? Edit, yes, I actually did call the police, but with all the chaos I forgot about the call and ended up hanging up. Update 1, I've blocked Rita so she can't harass me anymore. The last few days have been exhausting, and given her behavior, I think the best thing for everyone is for me to seek full custody of our daughter. We don't need to communicate directly, lawyers can handle it. It's not just my decision, my daughter has repeatedly told me she wants to live with me. I've already reached out to my lawyer. She also told me Rita has been bombarding her with the same guilt-tripping messages, which no daughter should have to read from her mother. I don't understand how Rita thinks she's entitled to kindness and respect from us when she's been nothing but cruel to our daughter lately. After blocking Rita, both my daughter and I decided we just wanted peace while my lawyer handled things. Honestly, the way she acted the other day, unstable, screaming, throwing herself on the lawn, was terrifying. I don't know exactly what's wrong with her, but something clearly is. She's not my wife anymore, so in theory it's not my concern, but since our custody agreement requires my daughter to spend half the month with her, it is my concern. I feel bad for Adrian, because his divorce is probably going to be ugly. I also know Rita won't take kindly to me filing for full custody, and she'll likely throw another tantrum. Until recently, we had managed disagreements through dialogue, but now, she's just not the same person. Even Adrian leaving her says a lot about how unbearable she's become. And here's the scary part, our daughter's account had spending limits. I'm almost certain Rita had to call the bank to raise them before using her card. On top of that, she likely didn't even know the PIN our daughter keeps her passwords in her diary. Meaning Rita must have snooped through it. That makes me realize this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment decision. It was deliberate. That's the part that really frightens me. Update 2. A few days ago, I met with my lawyer and officially filed for full custody. I don't think Rita has been notified yet. If she had, I'm sure she'd already be at my door screaming again. I dread that moment. But something important happened. Adrian came by to talk. We're not friends, but after he returned the money, the least I could do was offer him coffee. He had something serious to tell me. That's when I learned Rita was diagnosed with bipolar disorder a few months ago. Adrian said her behavior had been erratic for a while, so he pushed her to see a professional. That's how she got the diagnosis. But Rita refused to take medication and was inconsistent with therapy sessions. The therapist even tried to reach out to Adrian, since he had asked to be kept informed, but Rita had blocked the therapist's number to keep him in the dark. And there was more. Adrian revealed that Rita had also started shoplifting, acting like a kleptomaniac. She was even caught once at a store, but Derek, her stepson, managed to get her out of trouble because he knew the manager's son. Derek had been holding this over her and finally confessed to Adrian that he pressured her into throwing the graduation party as a way to make it up to him. He admitted it recently out of guilt. Adrian suspects that's why Rita used our daughter's money instead of her own. Maybe it was about the rush, or maybe she just didn't care. Either way, it was clear Rita isn't stable right now, and she shouldn't be around our daughter. Adrian said he felt guilty for leaving her in such a state, but he couldn't risk it anymore. It was affecting his son. Derek had already struggled after losing his mom to cancer years ago, and Adrian couldn't let him go through more trauma. I reassured him that he was doing the right thing. Our kids come first. Rita still has her parents and family, who are good people. I trust they'll take care of her. But our children only have us. After that talk, Adrian and I both felt a bit of relief, even though we're both bracing for Rita's reaction once she learns we've both filed legal actions against her. I honestly feel sorry for her. Everything is about to crash down on her at once, and it'll be hard to cope. I just hope her parents can support her and help her manage her emotions. I genuinely hope she focuses on getting better, for her own sake. Update 3. Today, Rita's mother called me. She said Rita had just been served the custody and divorce papers. Apparently, Rita is devastated. Even my former mother-in-law cried on the phone while talking to me. I felt awful for her. I knew it could not be easy dealing with Rita right now. I tried to explain that I truly had no choice but to do this. I was not sure if Rita had told her the reasons behind the divorce. I was not sure if she knew why I was asking for full custody. So I told her everything. I explained the incident. I shared what Adrian had recently told me. I thought she would be shocked by all of it. I assumed Rita had left out details to make herself look like the victim. But to my surprise, she had confessed everything to her parents. They knew about the bipolar diagnosis. They knew she had started stealing. Rita had told them over the last few months. She felt terrible about it. But she could not stop herself. She needed help. She needed support from professionals. She also needed emotional support from her family. Instead, she felt like everyone was abandoning her. My ex-mother-in-law told me that as a mother she could not accept us treating her daughter that way. She said that she felt betrayed. She called it cruel. For a moment I was upset. It felt like she wanted to paint Rita as the victim. We had also been victims of her behavior. But I calmed myself. I tried to see it from her perspective. If I were a parent, it would hurt to watch my child go through this. I told her that I could understand her feelings. Maybe not fully. But at least I tried. I also told her that I could not change my decision. I was certain that if she were in my place she would do the same. She would protect her child just as I am doing. That seemed to make her pause. She said nothing more. She hung up the phone. That was the end of it. I do not know what to think. I only hope things work out for everyone. Update 4. It has been almost a year since my last update. I was busy and had no time to write. Rita and I are divorced now. She fought hard. But she lost custody of our daughter. Our daughter wanted to stay with me. It did not end badly. After the ruling, Rita apologized to me. She apologized to our daughter. She said she would try to get better. It was emotional. We promised to stay in touch. A few weeks later she said she was moving closer to her parents. She did not want to be alone. I think it was the right choice. She promised to attend therapy. She promised to take her medication. Since the move we have kept in touch. She has been sending handmade gifts to our daughter every couple of weeks. It is her new hobby. It has been good for both of them. That is a positive sign. My life has also changed. A few months ago I met a woman at work. Things are going well. She has a daughter who is younger than mine. We introduced them. They get along. Maybe not best friends. But close enough. My girlfriend and I have been together 7 months. Our bond is strong. Marriage could be in the future. We plan to move in together by the end of the year. I am excited about what comes next. I am happy now. My personal life is good. My daughter is happy too. I hope one day she can fully reconcile with her mother. I hope that day comes soon. For now everything is going well. That is all I have to say. Thank you to everyone for the kind and supportive comments and messages I have received. Update 5. It felt unfair to end my last update making it seem like everything was improving in my ex's life. To be fair, I thought so too. But now I have discovered some things I did not know. What once looked like a happy ending no longer feels that way. My daughter still talks to her grandparents from time to time. Last week she told me I should call them and ask about her mother. She looked worried, so I did. They told me that while my ex did attend therapy for a while, she eventually started skipping sessions. She also stopped taking her medication. Her mother tried to keep track of it until one day she found pills that clearly had not been swallowed. Then the stealing began again. At first it was small things in her father's house. But later it became worse. She stole from a store where she had no connections. This time she was caught. Unlike the first time when her stepson knew the store owner and helped her escape consequences. This time there was no way out. They realized outpatient treatment would no longer work. Only two options remained. Either go to jail for theft or admit herself to a medical center until a professional declared her fit to leave. She chose the latter. I believe part of her understands that she is unwell and needs help. But there must also be an inner struggle that keeps pulling her back. That is why she needs this kind of treatment most of all. The fear of prison likely played a big role in her choice too. So yes. My ex is currently in treatment. I only hope for her own sake that this time she gets the help she truly needs and makes a real change. Thankfully she is far from us so it does not affect us directly. But I still have compassion for people with mental health struggles. I try to imagine what it must feel like to live with that. And that is why I wish her recovery. Edit. I do not know if her ex-husband is aware of any of this. Since they do not share children, he probably stopped getting updates about her long ago. I do not plan to make more updates. At least for now. In these 4 months since I last wrote there have been no major changes. Keep in mind I am far away. The only information I get comes from my ex-in-laws. I am not very close to them. My daughter speaks with them sometimes. But unless it is something important like the last event they do not talk much about her. Every family hides a mystery. Subscribe to uncover the next one.